Good afternoon. My name is Temilola Ajayi, and I'm here today to share a topic with you on purpose versus performance. So, we're going to be discussing something really important today, and I'd like you to really pay apt attention, as this is one of the things that we all need, to feel fulfilled and live our life to the fullest. So, okay, I'll go straight to the point. Like I said, today's topic is going to be purpose versus performance. The first question I would like to ask is, are you living or just impressing people? Like, I realize that a lot of people are just living, they're just living their lives to impress people. They're not really living their life the way they should live their life. They're living their life just to impress people. So I'd like you to ask yourself this question: am I living, or I'm just impressing people with the way I'm living? Am I really living my life? Am I fulfilling purpose? Or I'm just living my life just to impress people? So, like I said, again, our topic for today is purpose versus performance. So, like I said, um, are you living your life, or you were just performing for the applause? Like majority of people these days are just living for people to validate their existence. Like they want people to just clap for them for doing all the things that they're doing, but they're not living that life of fulfillment. They're just living their life for the audience, for the applause of people. They are not living their life to a certain level where they're actually fulfilled. So many of us, especially young professionals, we are silently struggling with this. You know, choosing our alignment over applause. We need to know if we are truly living our lives the way we should live our lives, or we're just living it just to please people. So we're going to really dig into this topic today, and like I said, I want you to pay apt attention. Um, the first question I'd like to ask is, what is purpose? What is purpose? I know this is not a new word. This is something that we hear every day. We keep hearing it, purpose, purpose. But now I want us to talk about it. What exactly is purpose? Your purpose. What is purpose? Purpose is your why. It is the reason you exist. It's the deeper meaning behind what you do. That's what purpose is. It flows from your internal conviction. you know it's not external approval. Purpose is what you feel within yourself. It is your why, the reason why you exist. That's what purpose is. And purpose is identity driven, not image driven. Purpose brings out your identity, brings out who you really are. That's what purpose does. So, like, look inward at this point and try to figure out if you're living, as in if you're really existing, and you're not just living for the applause, like I mentioned earlier, because purpose aligns with your values, with your calling, and what truly matters to you. Whether or not anyone notices it, it just aligns with your personality, aligns with your calling, with who you are exactly. And what does this feel like? Purpose feels like peace. It's peaceful. It's fulfilling, because it resonates with who you truly are. So purpose is fulfilling. It's peaceful. It gives you this kind of peace and makes you know that yes, you're doing the right thing, and it's consistent. It's just who you are. So it flows. It's not something like you have to force. It just flows. Okay, let me cite an example. In my notes here, I actually stated that a teacher who loves shaping minds, even if the salary isn't great, you see the teacher excited to go to school to teach the students or the pupils, because that's the calling. That's what makes them feel fulfilled. That's what makes them feel excited. So that's what purpose is. So purpose is who you are, like your existence. It makes you feel, yes, this is who I am, and this is why I exist. Whether or not anyone is seeing you, you just know that, oh, I'm doing the right thing. So that's what purpose is. And now we'll talk about performance. Remember that I said our topic for today is purpose versus performance. So we've talked about purpose, which states that it is our existence. Now we're going to talk about performance. What exactly is performance? And so performance is your show. Now, I said purpose is your why. Now, performance is your show. Like when you start fulfilling purpose, there is a way it brings you out there. Yes. So, performance is your show. purpose is your why. So it is when your actions are driven by a desire to impress, gain approval, or maintain a certain image. So a lot of people are living based on performance and not on purpose, because everything that they do is based on the approval of other people. They're doing it to impress. They're doing it to maintain a certain image. That's what performance is. So it's totally different from when you are working or you are living in purpose. When you are living in your performance, it's different from when you are living in your purpose. So when you live in your purpose, you know that you're living for your own existence. You know it flows naturally. But when you are doing things based on performance, it just shows that you're doing this thing, to seek people's approval, to gain approval from people, to maintain a certain kind of image. So it shifts you a little bit from your purpose. So now, performance is applause driven. I said that purpose is image driven. Performance it's performance is applause driven. Like you want people to clap for you all the time. Identity. Sorry, I said purpose is identity driven and not image driven. Performance is actually image driven, but purpose brings out your identity. It is not image driven. So performance is applause driven, because you constantly seek people's approval. You constantly look out for people to applaud you, people to validate everything that you do. So that's what performance is. It's about doing things because of how they look to others and not because it aligns with your true self. For instance, for a lot of young people these days going under the knife, for one surgery or the other, they're actually doing that. They're actually doing that because they want that approval from people. It's not who they are. It's not the kind of body that they've gotten from God from the onset, but they just need to do it because it aligns with what other people think and not what they think about themselves. So what does it feel? As in, what does performance feel when you start acting based on performance and not based on purpose? I said purpose feels peaceful, yes, but performance, it's draining. Is inconsistent. I told you earlier that purpose is consistent, but performance is inconsistent and it's draining because you constantly need to look out for the new trend, look out for new things that you need to do so that you can just align with other people and you're not aligning with yourself. So it's kind of draining and it's competitive because for every time you will keep seeing a new trend or another that you want to up on, you want to try it and you want to up into something that is trending, and then it becomes a competition. So performance is competitive. For instance, someone posting achievement on social media mainly to prove their success to people. You're trying to gain people's approval. You're not doing it because that is who you truly are. So that's the difference. That's difference between being purposeful and being performance driven. Remember that purpose is identity driven, while performance is not identity, it is applause driven. So what's the core when we talk about the core difference between purpose and performance? Here are the core difference between purpose and performance. Purpose flows from an internal conviction. It is what you feel, what you know. It comes from within. It is who you are, what you are called to do, and it gives you peace no matter what or anyone knows, whether anyone is seeing you or not. Purpose gives you peace. It gives you peace of mind. But performance, on the other hand, seeks external validation. So purpose is from an internal conviction, what you know. You already know that this is who I am. That's what purpose is. So it's from internal, it's from within. While performance is external, is you're seeking external validation. It's doing things so people can clap for you, people can approve, people can say, oh wow, you're doing great. Oh yeah, this is it. That's what performance is all about. So now think about it, like pursuing a career because it aligns with your calling. When you're pursuing a career, maybe while you were younger, you had this thing, this particular career path in mind that you wanted to pursue, and you followed that path. That's purposeful because you have discovered yourself from while you were younger and you decided to pursue it, because it aligns with your calling. But when you choose a path because it looks good on other people, or because you see people talking about it maybe on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and you want to do it to impress your family members, that's performance. That's not purposeful. That's performance. So we also talk about the silent prayer to impress. So now there's a lot going out there. There's a lot of people want to do things, to impress other people, the truth is there's a silent pressure on every one of us, to impress. Like we want to do it from our hair to our nails as ladies, to clothing and cars for men. There's so much every one of us wants to do, to impress other people. So, social media shows us highlight reels that makes us feel like we're behind. Even for those people who are already on a career path, doing something, they tend to feel like, oh, I think I'm not doing the right thing, because they see the performance of other people, even though when they are working in line with their purpose, right? They still feel like, oh, I feel like I'm not doing the right thing because Mr. A is doing this, but a lot of people do things for different reasons. So social media, for instance, makes us feel like we are behind if we're not careful. Family and society constantly ask us questions, like, when are you getting married? When are you buying that car? When are you giving birth to another baby? When are you building the house? We have a lot of prayer. People are going through so many stuff that they can't talk about. And, these things, they come from people that are around us, people who are close to us, family members, colleagues, there's just a silent prayer to impress people. So we chase things, not because we need them. A lot of people buy many cars, not because they want to drive out the cars at once, no, but because there's this prayer to compete with other people, to be in line, to say, okay, yes, I want to do this too, I want to do that, I want to be like A, I want to be like B, that's silent prayer that comes with us impressing other people. And we tend to chase those things that we don't need because we want to look like we have it. We want to look like we all need to. We want to look like we are also there. You get, but this thing is exhausting. I said it earlier that performance sometimes is exhausting, especially, and it's competitive. It comes with a whole lot of checking other people, seeing the level that they have, and trying to see if you can also get to that level. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to pause and ask yourself this question. Who am I really doing the things I'm doing? Who am I really doing it for? Who am I doing all these things for? Like, I need you to pause and ask yourself that question. Who am I doing all these things for? So another now we'll talk about signs that shows that we are in performance mode. Signs that shows us that we're in performance mode and we are not, in the purpose mode. So how do you know you are living in performance mode? So we'll talk about three signs that shows that you are living in performance mode. The first one is constant comparison. You have this urge to always compare yourself to other people. You scroll more than you create. You keep checking what others are doing just to measure yourself. So there's three signs to look out for. One is constant comparison. So this is when you know that you're already in a performance mode and you're not in purpose mode. Once again, the topic that we're taking today is purpose versus performance, and we've talked about what it means to be purposeful, what purpose means, and what performance means. And we say purpose means why, while performance is means like show. It's your show. Purpose is your why. Performance is your show. So we are talking about three quick signs that will make us realize that, oh, I am actually in performance mode and I'm not in purpose. Because sometimes we don't really know if we are in this mode, because we can just be living our lives and we would not really know that, okay, yes, I'm actually in performance mode, though I'm not in purpose. Sometimes we don't know because we're just living our life. So the first thing I said is constant comparison, this urge to constantly compare yourself with other people. So the second thing that we're also going to I'm going to talk about is drained but productive. You're busy, you're achieving all, because sometimes when you are even in that your performance mode, you are doing things, so you are achieving, you're doing a lot if you are in that mode. But so it's just that it's draining because it's not who you really are. So it's draining, you're busy achieving, you're ticking all the boxes, but it's not based on something that gives you fulfillment. It's just based on what other people are doing. So you are just ticking all the boxes, you are performing, you are being productive, but you feel empty inside. That's why you see a lot of people who are doing great stuff and you think, oh yes, these ones, they're doing great, but they will tell you that they don't feel this fulfillment within them. So there is a need for us to constantly look out for those things that makes us feel fulfilled and those that doesn't drain us. So if another sign that you need to also look out for that shows you that you are in performance mode and not in purpose mode is having this fear. So performance mode, you are driven by fear, not clarity. So like everything you want to do, you're always scared, like you're driven by that fear. You say yes to things not because they align with your purpose, but because you're afraid that if you don't do it, people will just forget about you and they will not show up. Like I'm trying to look for a very good example that will suit this, but there are so many things that we do that we just feel that if we don't do it, people would not if we don't do it, we will not get the validation of people. People will not like us, they will forget about us. So we do some of these things because we want to seek public validation, we want people to see us and they see the things that we do. So but one thing I would like to tell you is when you check out for these signs, like remember I said there is constant comparison. You see yourself constantly comparing yourself to somebody else. Just know that you're already in your performance mode and you're not in your purpose mode. Then you feel drained, even though you're doing a lot of things. You just feel drained because you are ticking all your boxes, you're doing the right thing, but you are just tired. You don't feel fulfilled. Just know that you're in your performance mode. Then you're not clear. There's no clarity about what you are doing. You just say yes, yes, yes. Okay, I will do this thing. Yes, I will do this thing. Yes, I will do this. You're just saying that yes because you want to align with what people are saying, but not that you're just scared. You're driven by fear. That these people should not just my friends should not leave me because I'm not doing this thing. So be honest with yourself right now. Which of these signs that I have mentioned truly it feels true for you? As in which of these feels true for you? Just check yourself right now and say, am I driven by fear? Clarity? Do I constantly compare myself with people? Am I productive but actually feel empty doing all these things? So just take a moment and just try and think about it and see, okay, yes, if I'm doing this thing or not. Then let's talk about the cost of performance driven life. This is very heavy. I tell you, the cost of performance driven life is heavy because it leads to burnout. You're working, you're doing the right things that you're supposed to do, but you get burnt out, you're tired because you're always chasing approval. And when you don't get that approval from people, guess what? You're not always happy. You feel like you have not done anything. You just feel like you have not done anything if you don't get people's approval. So those are some of the costs that comes with performance. When you are constantly working, but when people don't cheer you up, like for instance, you post a beautiful picture, maybe you got an outfit because you just feel that, okay, I need to just put on this outfit to make people see that I'm beautiful. Then after putting on the outfit, you now post your picture on social media and you did not get any like. So you would just be like, oh, maybe the clothes is not fine. Maybe it's the way I packed my hair. Maybe it's my posture for this picture and all that. You just don't feel good, because you are driven by performance. Then it feeds anxiety and it brings this about this imposter syndrome because no matter what you achieve, you never feel good about it. So that's the cost. Some of the things that comes with performance driven living. You have to check yourself to know if truly what I'm doing, am I living in my performance mode? Because when you are, you'll be tired. You'll just be tired, And this thing, it steals your emotional rest. Oh, you are not emotionally stable when you're in your performance driven living. You're not. You can't relax because you feel like you must keep proving yourself to people. You must keep making everybody see that, oh, I am here. Oh, I have arrived. So listen to this carefully. You can win applause and still lose yourself. So it's very possible for you to have the approval of people around you, but you're losing yourself even while doing all these things. You're losing yourself even while doing all these things. So that's it about performance living, your performance mode. So let's talk about what purpose actually feels like. I said purpose is your why. It's the reason why you exist. It's the reason why you feel complete. Reason why you feel the way you feel. That's what purpose actually is. So now the beautiful thing about purpose is it gives you peace. Oh, there's this peace that comes with doing that thing that you really know that you're meant to do. It comes with a lot of peace. Even if no one notices you, even if no one is clapping for you, even if there's no applause, there's this peace that you feel inside that makes you know that, okay, yes, I am doing the right thing. And then, purpose also gives you clarity in your yes and freedom in your no. So with purpose, it gives you clarity. Like, yes, I'm doing the right thing, and you're free. Whenever you even do anything that anybody is not even clapping for you, and you just know that I'm still in line, I'm still doing the right thing. You don't feel guilty, for saying no to things that don't align with you. You don't need to keep moving yourself because you're already working in what matters. You don't need to do all that. You don't need to keep proving yourself because you know that you're already working in what matters. You're already working in purpose. That's what um purpose actually feels like. It's peaceful. You just know that even this boils down to what we do in school. It makes you just know that, yes, I'm on the right track. Oh, I love this because you're not born out from your choices. Yes, you're not born out from your life choices. That's it about being purposeful, living in your purpose living. So now there are two questions I want you to reflect on, in this session. Maybe you can just write it in your journal, or you can just take your time after the session to think about it. So the first one is, what is that thing that I still do and that I still expect people to clap for me? Like, would I still do these things if no one clap? So identify the things that you do that you expect that you need applause from people. And then identify the things that you do that you know that even if no one clap for you, you will still do it. So let's put it this way. Just ask yourself this question. Would I still do this thing if no one clapped? Will I still be Temi Ajayi if no one clapped for me? Another question I want you to reflect on is, am I building a legacy or just an image? There's a difference between building a legacy and building an image. I'm trying to remember this quote that says that if you want to walk in the sands of time, you do not drag your foot. So ask yourself this question: am I building a legacy or I'm just building an image? We said purpose is not image driven. It is not. It is identity driven. It brings out who you are, your identity. That is what purpose brings out. But performance is not like that. Performance is just for you to show. So ask yourself this question, reflect on it. Am I building a legacy or I'm just building an image? Now take a deep breath. Take a deep breath and think about this. Take a deep breath and think about this. Think about it. Ask yourself this question. Be sincere with yourself. The response you're going to give yourself, make sure you're sincere with the response you're going to give yourself. Like, am I building a legacy for myself or am I just building an image? Now, how can we shift from performing to living? Like I said, some people are productive while they are performing. Yeah, they are very productive while they are performing, but they feel burnt out, because it comes with the prayer to do things that people will validate. So, how can you shift from performing to living? So, how do you shift from performing to truly living? Let's talk about these three simple steps. The first one is pause and revisit your why. Remember that I said purpose is your why. So you need to pause at this moment and think about your why. Revisit it. Regularly check if what you are doing aligns with your true purpose. This thing that I'm doing, does it align with who I am, who I have been created to be? Check out your values, the things that you love to do, check them out, and then you see, oh, am I really working in line of my purpose? Because we need to constantly do a check. I used to tell my friends that I constantly do a check and balance, not because I want people to pray like a self-appraisal. It's because I want to know where I am. Am I working in line in the line of my purpose, or am I just performing? Because when you are performing, you get a lot of applause from people because you are there, you are doing it, people are seeing you, So you need to regularly check if what you're doing aligns with your true purpose. Then anchor your identity in truth. Anchor your identity in truth. Your worth is not in your likes. Is Is not. Your worth is not in your likes. It's not in the number of likes that you get. It's not in the number of applause that you get. It's not in the number of titles that you get. It's in your faith. It's in your values and what you are at the core. That is what you need to anchor your identity. You need to anchor your identity in truth. That's what you are. So when you want to shift from performing to just living, you need to anchor your identity in truth, because your worth is not in the number of likes that you get, it's not in the number of applause that you get, it's not in the number of titles that you get. It is who you are, it is your faith. Then the third thing is to choose alignment over visibility. Choose alignment over visibility. So it's better to grow quietly. It's better to grow quietly than to shine empty. Not all that glitters are gold, they say that. So remember that not everything that is visible is valuable. So it's better to grow quietly than to shine empty. So there are a lot of people who have shined, but are empty within. So I'll go through the 3 steps again. The first one is to pause and revisit your why. The second one is to anchor your identity in truth. And the third one is to choose your alignment over visibility. So now, on a final note, I'd like to say this, that you were not born to impress. None of us. When our parents gave birth to us, funny as it is, we just came, except for those people who came even as twins. Even as twins, they didn't grow up at the same time. So you were not born to impress anyone. You were born to impact, to have. So no matter the line that you have chosen in your purpose living, just know that it takes you to a particular destination, and that destination is impact. Purpose may not always trend, but it always transforms. When you live that life of purpose, you begin to, it's just like I'm trying just like maybe an infrared, and then people that are around you, they just feel it. They know that yes, truly, this person is living a life, and then it's prayer because you are always happy, you're always doing the right things. You do not feel this constant burnt out, and because you're not in competition with anybody, so you're just doing your thing. But the truth of the matter is, when we start working in our purpose, a lot of times we don't get to trend, like it doesn't just bloom just like that. Although there are a lot of people who discover themselves. If you look at, okay, let's take content creators, for instance. There are lots of content creators in Nigeria at the moment, and they're doing extremely well. But do you know what? Maybe some of them, actually they had a niche before they now switched, or they had a career path before they now switched to content creation. But if you check, they did not start content creation today and then they bloomed today. No, it was a gradual thing. It was gradual. They did not just start today and made it today, but because they were intentional, they knew who they. Some of them are medical doctors, some of them are lawyers, but they just feel that this is the only path that makes them feel fulfilled, and then they decide to work in that path, and before you know it, they start impacting lives. They make a lot of, some comedians, even some of them who had studied some particular courses in school, they still end up doing well for themselves in another area, because they discovered that maybe that path that they chose wasn't really what they wanted to do, and so they decided to work in their purpose. And while doing that, you see how they make people laugh. You just watch them and you laugh, because they've discovered what they are, and silently, they are making impact. So purpose may not always trend, but it will always transform. So today, I want to implore you to choose to live. Yes, choose to live. Choose alignment over applause. Now, in this era of social media, it is very easy for people to clap and clap and clap for us. Even if you do stupid things, people will have your own audience, and it can be distracting because you will not really know if you're doing the right thing or not. You feel like, okay, I'm on that path, but it could be that you're performing and not living in your purpose. And so I also want you to think about one area in your life where you need to stop performing and start living. Yes, take a deep breath. Look at all the things that I've said. Try as much as possible to reflect on every area of your life and see if you're living in your why and not living to show off. Try to know if you're living in your purpose and not performance. Try to differentiate how each of your activities, how they align, with your purpose, and see if you're truly living a fulfilled life. This is the only way that you can help yourself, to live a peaceful life, a life that is peaceful, a life that is fulfilling, a life that is consistent, a life that is not competitive. So, like I said, choose to live. Yes, when you are in purpose, you live. So today, choose to live. Choose to align over applause. And don't forget to choose one area of your life where you need to stop performing and start living. Take that step now, and you'll be thankful you did. So, till I come your way again next time on another exciting topic, I remain Timila Ajayi. Take care and have a great day. Bye.